So this is interesting. Apple has released new products just within the last couple of days. The Apple HomePod, the M2 chips with the MacBook Pro, with the Mac Mini, with the M2, M2 Pro, all those chips and everything. But I want to talk about the HomePod because I feel like this is all kind of connected towards the classical music app that is going to be released this year. I have a feeling, guys. I have a feeling that it's going to be released this year for the sole purpose that usually WWDC is when, developers gather around for, new things that are going to be happening in the Mac world in terms of developing softwares, apps, whatever. I predicted in a previous video that I believe that the Apple classical music app is actually finished and they're making some tweaks and they're going to be waiting for the release of that software and for that app at WWDC. Now, why is this all connected with the HomePod and why should you care? Let's talk about the HomePod and the specs for the HomePod and why you should care. So HomePod is running on Apple Silicon, very important, and you have high fidelity audio, which wasn't so successful in the first coming of the HomePod because you're starting to compete with like Amazon Alexa and the Google ecosystem. But now you have higher fidelity audio. I think Apple has learned about the market and what consumers are wanting out of audio. So you have high fidelity audio from the HomePod. It could work throughout all Apple devices, that you can connect all your devices wirelessly to create an ideal smart home. And everything is updated. The sound is updated. The bass is updated, the ability to analyze a room and to get the best sound out of the speaker in a given room, depending on where you put the HomePod, I think is a great advantage because the new HomePod is a very important update because it continues to develop its surround sound system and its technology using the silicon chips, which means that they have more computing power to analyze the room to really get the best kind of sound for anyone who's listening to music, for anyone who wants to pair their HomePod to the TV. Because to me, I look at other digital streaming services for classical music like Digital Concert Hall by Berlin Philharmonic and all sorts of different orchestras like Chicago Symphony has their own streaming service. And it's becoming clear to me that I think Apple could be tapping into that market because you have the technology for great surround sound that you've developed in the AirPods Pro. You incorporated that into the HomePod. And not only that, you can pair multiple HomePods together to get that stereo experience. So I believe we're very close to getting that classical music app because I feel like that's the direction that Apple's going. So even though it's supposed to act as your smart home hub, I really do think that it's going to be connected to the whole classical music experience. And I think, in my view, in WWDC, they're going to be using this Apple HomePod as an example to really showcase the Dolby Atmos and the Apple digital mastering of the digital concert hall of classical music. Before, with Apple Music, you can seamlessly connect it to your HomePod. But specifically speaking, I'm curious to know your thoughts on the upcoming HomePod. It's not released yet, so I don't have an idea of how it sounds like and what it looks like, how big it is and whatnot, and how it sounds in the room. So let me know your comments. Do you currently have a HomePod, and are you excited to be able to pair it with the upcoming classical music app? I am, and I want to know your thoughts. And if you want to learn more about my thoughts on the Apple classical music app release date, check out this video right over here.